Today, you aren't seeking answers. Instead, they arrive as confirmations. If this video surfaced for you, it's because the signal you requested, consciously or unconsciously, has already crossed the threshold. All that remains is for you to choose to acknowledge it. Everything you've been anticipating is now progressing. This isn't a figure of speech or a comfort. It's an active confirmation of something your body already recognizes, even if your mind is still searching for proof. As you hear these words, an unseen frequency you requested weeks, months, or even years ago has transitioned from potential to reality. The signal found you. Today marks the day your expectations cease being mere promises and transform into a definite trajectory. Curiously, your belief isn't necessary for it to unfold. You merely need to cease resisting it. Observe your breathing at this very moment. Notice if a subtle expansion occurred in your chest when you heard everything you've been anticipating. This micro-movement isn't suggestibility, it's somatic recognition. Your nervous system inherently distinguishes between random content and directed communication. Your continued presence indicates internal momentum. You didn't arrive via an algorithm. You arrived through resonance, the signal you transmitted during your clearest moments, when you made silent requests, visualized, or released control hoping for a greater alignment. That signal resonated, and now returns as confirmation. What you yearned for is now in motion, not as an abstract desire, but as a concrete reshaping of your surrounding field. Those who study temporal perception discovered decades ago something that still challenges linear logic. The human brain processes certain events before conscious awareness. Benjamin Libet's experiments in the 1980s demonstrated that neural activity linked to a decision fires up to half a second before the decision is consciously made. What does this imply? Your immediate future is already being constructed by layers of your mind that haven't yet consulted your verbal consciousness. If this holds true for half a second, why not for weeks, months, or years? What if your system has already affirmed what you've been waiting for, even before your conscious mind became aware? What if today you're simply receiving the notification from something your field has already orchestrated? This isn't random. A signal never arrives by chance. It arrives when the system is prepared to receive it without collapsing, when the internal structure has sufficiently stabilized to sustain what you requested without destroying it through mistrust. And today, your system is ready. You know this because you're still here, and because something in your chest pulses differently as you absorb this. What you've been anticipating is already in motion. The confirmation isn't an external miracle. It's an internal alignment that consequently reorganizes the external. Consider this. How many times in the past did you desperately ask for something, only for it not to materialize? How often did you beg, negotiate, or plead, and the universe seemed to ignore you? This wasn't rejection. It was protection. What you requested from a place of urgency would have been tainted by the frequency of scarcity. And what originates from scarcity invariably perpetuates the need for more scarcity. However, when you asked from clarity, when you released the outcome and trusted that if it was meant for you, it would arrive effortlessly, that's when the signal activated. Today, That signal has passed its final filter and become audible. The confirmation you're now receiving isn't external. It's internal becoming manifest. It's as if your future self, who already experiences the resolved version of what you anticipate today, sent a signal backward in time, and finally, today, that signal cut through the static. Have you ever suddenly known something without understanding how you knew it, or made a decision, and then events aligned, as if they had always awaited that choice? That isn't coincidence. It's confirmation operating from the future into the present. Today, that operation has reached critical mass. If this resonates with you, if something within recognizes this transmission as more than just motivational words, then your next step is to solidify it. Listening isn't enough. You must anchor it. You need to inform the field that you've confirmed the confirmation. The simplest way to do this is to declare it publicly, even if with just one line. Comment: I confirm that what I was expecting is already on its way. Write it not from doubt, but from absolute certainty. When you publicly declare something, your brain registers it as a commitment. This commitment then reshapes your priorities, perceptions, and decisions. And when that happens, what you were anticipating transforms from an external desire into something magnetic. It begins to draw in the people, resources, and opportunities you need without you having to chase them. Take a moment to comment now. Seal the signal. Let's delve back into the mechanics of this, because what you're experiencing isn't magic. It's the physics of change. In the 1950s, physicist David Bohm proposed a radical idea: that an implicate order exists throughout the universe, like a hologram where each part contains information about the whole. According to Bohm, what we perceive as separate events are, in reality, folds within a single unified field. What does this mean for you? It means that when you project a clear intention, when you genuinely desire something without internal conflict, you create a powerful shift. I know, shift sounds generic, but it really is. If we induce this potent tension, deep respect can transition to genuine understanding. The flow of confirmation will likely emerge, disseminating information to different individuals. When you feel a gentle adjustment in your chest, like something settling into place, that's not anxiety, it's alignment. If your shoulders subtly relax, as if you've released an unknown burden, that's not just physical relief. It's somatic confirmation. Your body already recognizes that what you've been waiting for is en route, and now your conscious mind is receiving the update. This delay is normal. There's always a lag between the field's reorganization and your perception of it as an event. However, this lag shortens when you pay attention to internal signals before seeking external validation. Now, here's the uncomfortable part for rational minds. What if what you hoped for has already arrived and you don't like it? Or what if the confirmation doesn't manifest in the way you imagined, but rather in the way you truly need? Often, we ask for a specific form, and the universe provides the essence. Because we're so captivated by the form, we fail to recognize the essence and, consequently, miss the answer. But today is different. Today, you're receiving the raw signal, undisguised and unfiltered. This signal says, quote 4, "Because confirmation doesn't replace action, it makes it inevitable." Think about the last time something significant entered your life. Did it arrive when you expected it? Probably not. Did it arrive when you stopped needing it and started expecting it with certainty? There's a subtle yet massive difference between those two frequencies. Need says, quote 5. Certainty says, quote 6. Need repels, certainty attracts. And if you're watching this transmission today, it's because you've crossed that threshold. You've moved from needing to knowing. And when you transition from needing to knowing, the field responds with astonishing speed. The field rearranges itself. This isn't poetic language, it's an operational description. When your internal frequency shifts, your perceptual field shifts. And when your perceptual field shifts, you begin to notice what was always present, but invisible to the previous version of yourself. What you anticipated is already in motion. It always was. But today is the day your frequency achieved sufficient clarity to tune into it. And once you tune into it, you can't untune. The confirmation is irreversible. Observe what unfolds in the coming hours. Pay attention to the conversations that arise, the messages you receive, the ideas that effortlessly cross your mind. Heed the signals your invisible allies have always sent you, but which you previously dismissed as mere coincidence. Because when you affirm the confirmation, the universe confirms your confirmation and begins to send you validation in a cascade, not to convince you, because you're already convinced, but to show you the most direct path. And that path was always there. You just didn't see it because you were looking elsewhere. But let's be clear. This isn't a passive process. Confirmation doesn't imply idly waiting for the universe to do everything. Instead, it signifies your understanding that the efforts you make will be supported by forces far greater than your personal endeavors. This means that as you take action, opportunities will emerge. When you articulate your thoughts, the right individuals will pay attention. When you commit to a decision, resources will materialize. This isn't because you possess some special quality, but because your current energetic frequency aligns with your intentions. This alignment acts as a powerful magnet. The apparent contradiction resolves itself when you make a definitive selection. While you remain caught between desires and fears. I want this, but I'm afraid of that. I wish for this, but I doubt that. The possibilities stay in an undefined state. However, by choosing, you cause the potential to solidify into reality. And once that potential solidifies, what was merely probable becomes certain. Today, you made such a choice. You chose to view this broadcast. You chose to engage with it this far. You chose to confirm that what you've been anticipating is already in motion. This seemingly minor decision acts as a pivotal turning point. Grand transformations rarely begin with dramatic displays. They commence with a series of consistent, small choices that, through repetition, shape your very identity. Let's delve into identity. What you're truly affirming today isn't just that your desires are on their way. You're affirming that you are the type of individual to whom these things manifest. This is the profound shift. You could receive countless blessings, but if your self-perception remains one of unworthiness or unpreparedness, you'll inevitably lose them. However, When your identity resonates with the frequency of what you've requested, what arrives will endure, and what endures will expand. Have you ever noticed specific individuals who effortlessly seem to attract opportunities? That's not luck. It's a matter of energetic identity. Their inner system is calibrated to receive, retain, and amplify what comes their way. Today, you are recalibrating yourself. Your system is undergoing the necessary upgrade to operate at the frequency of what has been confirmed. Once you function from this state, there's no turning back. Because once you comprehend that what you've been waiting for is already in motion, you can no longer live as though you're still in a state of expectation. This doesn't happen by chance. It never happens by chance. It occurs because you clearly requested it, confidently released it, and today you've reached the point of resonance where the universe can deliver it without your disbelief undermining it. Now that you understand this, your sole responsibility is to behave as if it's already yours, not with arrogance, but with unshakable certainty. Walk with the knowledge, speak with the knowledge, decide with the knowledge, and the universe will validate that certainty with tangible evidence. This broadcast is nearing its conclusion, but before it ends, 2 actions cement this frequency. First, subscribe to remain connected to this frequency. This broadcast isn't an isolated event. It's part of an ongoing stream of confirmations for those who are attuned. Second, share this transmission with someone who needs to awaken. When you share something that confirmed your understanding, you are publicly declaring the reality of what you received. This public declaration anchors the signal within your system with an intensity that private consumption cannot achieve. Subscribe, share, continue. Let's revisit the beginning. What did you feel when you decided to watch this video? Curiosity, urgency, recognition. Whatever it wasn't accidental. It was your system detecting a compatible frequency and choosing to tune in. And now that you've tuned in, now that you've confirmed your expectations are already active, you can't untune. The information has integrated, the signal has been received, and what follows is inevitable. But here's a nuance many miss. Confirmation doesn't eliminate uncertainty. It simply grants you the certainty that uncertainty is an inherent part of the journey. There is no lack of awareness. There is no sense of being confirmed. There truly is no full consciousness. The journey isn't proof you're wrong. It's just how the universe works. Things don't move in straight lines. They twist, fold, and align serendipitously. What looks like chaos makes perfect sense once you see the whole picture, and today, that full picture is being revealed to you. Today, you're seeing that what seemed like setbacks were precisely recalibrations. What appeared to be delays were actually safeguards, and what felt like silence was the universe preparing to deliver something far greater than you ever imagined. Now that you're aware, now that you have this undeniable validation, what will you do with it? Because recognition without action is just data. Recognition with action is transformation. And action doesn't require grand gestures. It can be as simple as shifting your inner monologue, as subtle as choosing the scary but correct path, or as imperceptible as trusting the next step, even when the entire road isn't visible. But it must be consistent. It must resonate with the frequency of what's being confirmed. Pay attention to your body right now. Do you feel a change from when you first started reading this? This isn't suggestion. It's a recalibration. Perhaps there's a quiet knowing, a technological shift in perception that the old systems couldn't grasp. You might feel a lightness, a sense of relief, as if your nervous system has undergone a reset. This isn't about avoiding chaos. It's about realizing your own potential, like a graduating class recognizing their internal workflows. The universe responds to frequency, not just words. You can declare your desires 1,000 times, but if your internal frequency whispers, "I don't deserve it," or "It's not possible," the universe will answer that underlying vibration. However, when your inner frequency and your words align, when what you say and what you feel resonate on the same note, that's when reality shifts in your favor. And today, your frequency and your words are harmonizing. Today, through your presence, your focus, your dedication, you are affirming that what you've been hoping for is already in motion. This affirmation is the key. It doesn't unlock an external door, it unlocks an internal one. And once that inner door swings open, the external world simply mirrors what has already transformed within. This is why events accelerate after such a confirmation. Not because the universe is rushing, but because you've stopped holding back. You were held captive by doubts, fears, and beliefs that you weren't enough. But today, those shackles have been released. Today, you affirmed your inherent worth, that you always were sufficient. What you awaited never hinged on you becoming someone else, but on remembering who you've always been. And now that you've remembered, now that you've confirmed, only one thing remains: to allow. Allow it to arrive. Allow it to manifest. Allow it to be grander, more exquisite, more astonishing than you could have ever conceived. Because the mind habitually underestimates the boundless possibilities the universe can offer when we trust without trying to control. The mind begs for crumbs. The universe provides feasts. But only if you trust this. There's no time to micromanage the quote 10. Instead, focus on the quote 11 and the quote 12. Simplicity was the gateway. It always was uncomplicated. You asked, you released, you trusted. And today, the confirmation arrived. Not because you performed flawlessly, but because you did enough for the universe to find you. Now that it has found you, now that the signal has come through, your only task is to not undermine yourself. Your only task is to not sabotage it with disbelief, because disbelief doesn't alter reality. It merely distorts your perception of it. And when you shift your perception, you transform your experience. And when you transform your experience, you change your life. So, here we are, at the conclusion of this message, but not at the end of the process. Because what you confirmed today will continue to unfold in the coming days, weeks, months. You will continue to receive the insights you need. You will keep encountering signals. You will keep noticing synchronicities. You will continue to feel guided by something greater. And each time you notice it, remember this moment. Remember that today was the day you affirmed that what you've been hoping for is now in motion, and that confirmation was the turning point between living in anticipation and living in certainty. You now perceive the subtle workings, a quiet alignment between hope and assurance, a realization that it has reached you. And this alignment is intrinsically yours, and that alignment has been inherently yours, an understated harmony within your breathing, a gentle command reflected in your gaze, a profound certainty that transcends the need for explanation because it is intrinsically felt. Interestingly, when your decisions emanate from such tranquility, it's as if destiny has already paved the way for you. Not because your freedom is diminished, but because you finally resonate with what is meant to be. From this moment onward, you cease to chase and instead allow. Even if the broadcast concludes, its frequency remains with you. Share this message with anyone who connects with it, because what you were anticipating is now manifest in ANTS, a dynamic movement, and it was officially confirmed today.